there are a few types of requisition processes available. Users can be set as a requisitioner, where a designated approver will need to approve an order placed by the requisitioner for any item in the portal. So a pen, a customizable flyer, letterhead, anything that they order, they will not be able to go through to the end of checkout until they have approval. So nothing will be sent to them. They will not be able to download anything until they get approval. Okay, so that is something that's kind of set at the user level. We set them as requisitioners. And the second one is there's the ability to set the requisition at the product level. So just that product will need to be approved. This way, someone like that is set as a purchaser. So we have three types of users, right? A requisitioner, a purchaser, and a senior purchaser. If you took my users and groups class, you kind of know the difference between those three. So this allows the flexibility for a purchaser to go through the checkout, maybe order some items and not need approval, but then at the product level, we can check a box that says requisition only and have that one particular product be requisition and need to have approval for that purchaser to order that item. Okay. The third one is the enhanced approval process. This is something that's available and needs to be kind of turned on actually and enabled by us at MarcomCentral. But this is a great way to go back and forth in a process for approval of a product. And this process will persist until the requisition itself is approved or canceled or basically expires out. A reminder email can be created and that can be set to go out for a specific number of days. So we'll go over just the basic regular approval process when we requisition a product, and then we'll also go over that enhanced process as well, and kind of a couple things that we need to set up for that process. A little bit further information on the enhanced approval process. Like I said, it allows for that back and forth. The approver can deny an item that will be sent to the purchaser to fix. So if a purchaser or a senior purchaser, this is what's different about the enhanced approval process. It can be a purchaser or a senior purchaser. Technically, in the regular approval process, a senior purchaser can always order all the way through, never has to have any item approved. That's the difference with enhanced, okay? So the enhanced process does, in certain cases, allow for the senior purchaser that is trying to order something have to have approval. So if you have that situation, in certain cases we might, then the enhanced approval process is really great for you. So just know that senior purchasers can be a part of that. So if a senior purchaser or a purchaser orders something and the approver looks at that order, and instead of, you know, going in and fixing it for them, they can deny it, and then that approver can, or that purchaser can go in, fix it, and then go back and it will send back to the approver again. So the regular process, what it does is if it's denied, if an order is denied, then that purchaser will have to start all over again. The enhanced process allows it to go back and forth in emails until it's completely approved, like I said, or canceled, basically. So this gives the ability for the senior purchasers, like I said, to need approval for certain items. A number of days, so we'll see the expiration days, a number of days can be set at the product level that the requisition will expire if an approver does not respond. Okay, so once that enhanced approval process is enabled, there's also an option that we will enable for you to set a certain amount of expiration days, and you'll see that at the product level when we get in there. Also, reminder emails is something that is set up in the portal information tile, and this can be sent to the approver, and the amount of days that will pass before a reminder is sent will be also customized within the portal information tile. So we'll show that. Okay, so that's just a little bit more information on that. Things that are out of scope for the enhanced approval process. Declined requisitions will not have the ability to edit shipping or billing, address, shipping methods, payment methods, or cost centers. It is out of scope for the classic portal. This is a new portal option only, and it's not supported when using the requisition web service. I'm not 100% sure what that is. If that's something that you use or you're curious, you can talk to your onboarding specialist about that. And here's a picture of my kid for attention again. So that's it for our slideshow. So we're going to go into the admin tool and work on setting these options up. Okay, so we'll hop on here and log in. This will probably be a shorter session today. Okay, so we're going to log into the admin tool. First, we want to indicate who the approver or approvers will be. Okay, so we're going to do this under the group settings. So refreshing your memory from many webinars past, I think one of the very first webinars we did was set up our groups and our users. And so under those, if you recall, it's like on the administration step, there is an area where we need to indicate like who that group will approve for. Okay, so you need to set up, like I said, the group that's going to be approving, who's going to be approving, will indicate the email of the approver and who will need to be alerted when a requisition needs to be approved. And so we'll set that up right now. So that was under the portal, portal users and under groups. So I have two groups, if you recall. I set up a standard users group and I set up a management group. Okay, now in the way that I have set up my groups, my management group is going to be kind of what we call like the approvers, all right? And so that particular group is where I would indicate who they're going to approve for. And that is under this step 6 under the administration. We'll just click on edit here. Now, if this particular group, management 2, was going to process requisitions for all of the groups and all of the orders for all of the users that we have, like maybe we have 10 different groups, then we can just keep these boxes checked here. Otherwise, we want to uncheck them and we can indicate specific groups that this group will process requisitions for. So I'm just going to do that here. I'm going to say, I mean, I only have a couple groups, but kind of get the idea. So we're going to process requisitions for the standard users group, and then we're going to see the orders for that particular group. All right. You want to make sure that you indicate that, because otherwise, as an approver, if you keep that box checked that says see all orders, they're going to see every end user's orders, and that could be kind of cumbersome to filter through. So we're indicating those specific groups here. Okay. Now, we need to indicate where the approver email will go for the group that this group is going to be approving for. Hopefully that makes sense. So let's save this. So because this group is made up of senior purchasers and they're not going to need approval unless they decided to do some, the enhanced process, right? And senior purchasers are going to need approval. We would indicate in the, let's go back to the other group, in the standard users group, who will be approving for them, okay? And that is set up in the same area under this, the senior purchasers email, okay? If the standard users group had requisition users in it, okay, then we would need to put the approver's email in this particular category here. If this group is made up of just users or purchasers, for example, then it would go here. Hopefully that makes sense. Just know that if you have any requisitioners, or if you have a group that's made up of completely of requisitioners, then you would need to put the email under the requisitioner approver email box, okay? So because this group just has some purchasers in it, we're gonna put my email, and this is going to be oops, let's spell that correctly. This is where the approver or approvers emails will go. Okay, if you are going to have more than one approver, then just put a comma in and then type in as many approvers as you want here. Okay, in this case, I'm just going to enter in my own email. So I'm going to save that. Okay, so like I said, this is kind of, you know, set up after the fact that we've already set up our groups, right? I do want to point out just quickly, I'm not going to go over the first process I talked about, which is the requisitioner. It's just because it will kind of do that process in the regular approval process. It's just, I wanted to mention that if you did want to set up someone as a requisitioner, remember, this is someone who has to have approval for everything and anything, download, customizable item, it doesn't matter. Just as a reminder, okay, just as a reminder when you're setting up users, I'm just going to point it out, I'm not going to change anything here, is that it's under step 1, under user details is where you would indicate the requisitioner, if you knew you were going to set up users in this way, okay? Certain cases you might. I do know that there are certain companies that use every user as a requisitioner. But just remember, it's very strict for that particular user, and whoever's going to be assigned their approver is going to be probably pretty busy in approving a lot of items for all of their end users, okay? But what we're going to do now is talk a little bit about setting up particular products to be requisitioned. So like I said, depending if it's a purchaser or a senior purchaser, if you're using the enhanced process, those two types can order all the way through, but in particular instances, when we set it up at the product level, that particular product is going to need approval. Okay, so let's go into the products now, and we'll set up a product for requisition. Right, so I'm just going to go back here to the home page, and then I'm going to go onto my product setup and get to my product list. So I'm kind of going back to these things after the fact, right? Like while you're in the process of building groups and creating users, etc., you know, you probably want to check these boxes and enable that and enter in emails for approval or for approvers as you go along. So like I said, I'm kind of doing this a little bit out of order, but that's okay. So we're going to go back to the destination flyer, and we're going to set this one as requisition. And we're going to test this one out a little bit later. So if I click on this drop down here and I go to step 7, this is where our requisition is set. Now I'm going to check this box that says requisition only. All right. Now when the enhanced approval process is enabled for you, okay, just remember, you have to contact us and contact your onboarding specialist, contact support. We will enable that for you. Because you won't see, like, for example, this requisition review days, this will not be available unless we enable that for you. So just know that you need to contact us. So we're going to check the box next to requisition, and then we're going to set the review days expiration. As far as I know, this is for business days. So it says if a requisition is not reviewed within the number of business days indicated, starting the day after a product requisition is submitted, the product requisition will expire and be canceled. So it's customizable, whatever you want to do. So we could set it for 3, 5, whatever. So I'm going to set it for 3. Now, it'll be hard for us to test this, right? Because we're not going to wait 3 days in our webinar. So if this process is enabled for you, you know, before you start assigning and, you know, signing all of this type of process to your users, you might want to just test it yourself, you know, go in, set a certain amount of days, see when the expiration email is sent to you, if the product is not approved, etc. Just know that this should be working when you set the days. So I've set it to 3 days. So if my approver does not, you know, indicate any response to this particular product, the destination flyer, then that requisition will expire after 3 days. Okay, so we've indicated the number here. We'll just save that. And then also, I'm not 100% sure if this is something we would do for you, but just there's settings that we have on our kind of super admin side that we'll set up for you. And then there is settings that you do have and you can enable on your side. I'm not sure if it's something we'll do for you, but I'll point it out. When the enhanced approval process is enabled, you can go to portal info and then settings. And then you want to indicate and check this box next to requisition email notification reminder. Okay, so this feature allows for the reminder email to be sent. So basically, the default is 3 days, okay? But we can actually go in, we're going to go into the next step and indicate how many days we want. So there's a difference. So the number that we set at the product level is like how many days pass for the approver to do anything with that particular requisition before it expires out. But, you know, we've set that expiration date, but if we know that our approvers, you know, take some time, they're busy people, we want to send them a reminder email, we could check this box here, and then they can be sent a reminder email, say, hey, there's a requisition that needs to be approved. So, you know, I'm going to go in and check it out. So we can set that here. So we'll check the box here. And then under the portal information, in this area right here under the portal information tile, I think it's not here, but it's the pending reminder, the default requisition approval email. These two fields, I'm a little bit confused about this one particularly, but it's this one right here, the pending requisition email reminder. So how many days are we going to allow to go past before our approver is reminded? Okay, so maybe 2. So we're going to say 2 days, they're going to get an email that reminds them that they have requisitions to approve. Okay, so we'll set that and we'll click on save. All righty. Okay, so that's really it for the setup. Really not too much. Like I said, it's mostly if you know you're going to have multiple products that are going to be requisition, then you know you're going to have to go through that process in step 7, checking that box, indicating any expiration days if you want them, and then you could either do that via, you know, manual process or bulk operations. Like we talked about a couple weeks ago, you could set the requisition there under bulk operations. All right, so we're just going to see these 2 in action. Like I said, we're just going to go through the standard regular requisition process, and then we're going to go through the enhanced. Okay, like I said, I'm not going to go through like a requisitioner signing in and placing an order. It'll be similar to just doing the requisition only at the product level. It'll still be that process. So I'm going to first, let's see. For the regular approval process, we're going to log into our time to travel store. Okay, so let me get to my portal. And I'm going to log in as Pam Beasley here. All right. So Pam is looking for the employee badge. Okay, she needs to print one of these out for trade show or something of that sort. So she's going to go in, she's going to customize it here, or she's going to click on the thumbnail, either one. Now, because this product has been set up for requisition, there will be a note indicating to her, says the item requires approval by senior purchaser. Now, that particular line with the asterisk is there. Once she clicks on customize, that particular message is gone, and it's just the description and the instructions that you provided when you created the product. If you want to indicate again, because I think sometimes end users get in there and they just click customize, they don't really read that. They might not know that it needs approval. So you might want to mention it again in the description, or it's just totally up to you. Just, you know, your end users best. So Pam's going to go in here. She's going to fill out her information. Yeah. And then she's going to grab her photo And then she'll go through the process of previewing it. Okay, so here's her ID. Got a little bit low res image there. Just don't worry about that. And then she'll just click on done, and then she's going to add it to the cart. All right, so she'll proceed to checkout. Now I'm just going to change this to marketing. So her delivery method, everything is set there. And then she'll refresh the order here, review, and then complete order. Now, if Pam still is up to this point of checking out and didn't know that she needs approval for this particular product because she's not reading the instructions or anything like that, when she clicks on complete order, she's going to see this as a requisition. She's going to know, okay, so it's not an actual order. Otherwise, an order number will be provided to her. So requisition number has been provided, and so she has done that. So once that is done, she has placed that requisition. Then a requisition email will be, and I'm just going to kind of show you these examples here. So a requisition email will be sent to the requisitioner. And this basically says a requisition has been placed for the time to travel test store by Pam. This is what she's trying to grab. So my approver, okay, this is the approver that's getting the email, can click on this link here to log in, or, if he wants to, I'm just going to log out as Pam. He could just log in every day, for example, and check to see if he has any products that need to be approved or any orders that he needs to approve. So we're going to log in as Michael Scott. Okay, so all right, so he'll know that he has requisitions to approve. Up in the upper left-hand side, it will indicate to him with this little blue indicator. He'll click on the hamburger menu here, and then there'll be like a little blue indicator next to the requisition history. And he'll see the order placed by Pam. He can either click on the requisition number or he can click on the details. So this is a process that we have done before. Like I said, so this is just kind of a reminder. This is the like I said, kind of like the basic requisite or approval process. So really it looks kind of similar. When we get into the enhanced process, it looks similar. It's just that the actions are different. So he has the ability to deny it. He has the ability to approve it right away, and just move on with his life, right? He can also edit it just to see what Pam put in. So if he clicks on edit and he sees that, the ID number is incorrect, then he can go back and deny it. Now, when he does that in the regular approval process, it just basically ends that whole order. Pam is, going to need to go back in to the time to travel portal. She's going to need to go through the whole process again and need to try again. Okay, and then that's putting in the cart, going through the checkout, and we're starting that whole process again. All right, and that is what the regular process will do. Now, in certain cases, maybe though the approver, in this case Michael, is kind, and he's just going to edit the information for Pam, approve it, and then that way it's pushed forward for Pam and she doesn't have to go back and go through the whole process again. But if you know that your approvers are like not going to be doing that, they're not going to be editing, they're only going to be really approving or denying, and they don't, they're going to have to have put that on the end user themselves to fix whatever issue that is in the customizable item, for example, then they're gonna, the enhanced approval process is for you. So like I said, the regular approval process, maybe he updates it to 12344. That's actually her ID number. He has to preview it. And he'll update the item. And then he will approve it, okay? So that kind of ends that process. So, updated. Oh, not phone number updated. So he can make a note to Pam saying, hey, you know, everything looked okay, but I updated your ID number, it was incorrect. So that kind of finishes that process, right? So Pam will now get an email here in a few moments. This is like me testing this, like, okay, email, you can do it. She will not only get an email that will indicate that the requisition has been approved, but also she should be getting a training email, or I'm sorry, not training email. She'll get an order notification number that will indicate to her that that order has now been placed. Okay, so we're just, you know, it's taken a few moments here in order for my email to receive the emails. But that is how that process will that's how that process will end. Okay. So the enhanced approval process looks very similar. It's just slightly different in the way that we do the back and forth process. Okay. So I'm going to actually just log out of here, and I'm going to use my time to travel sandbox to show you the enhanced approval process. So I'm going to go back into my users here in my sandbox. Hopefully my emails will catch up to, like, in order to show you this process, like I said, there's emails that are involved. You know, I'm trying to do this real time, real life. And so hopefully they'll catch up so you can kind of see what those emails look like. This is why I was saying test it out if you do want the enhanced approval process, and also allow those expiration days to go by in order to see the expiration email. I can and will show you an example of the expiration email because we won't be able to necessarily show that today. So I'm going to log in. Actually, I'm just going to, like I said, using my sandbox, I'm going to log in as just a regular purchaser. So the difference here is we set the destination flyer for requisition only, and this is including the enhanced approval process. Okay, so Dwight is going to log in. He's a purchaser in the standard users group. He's going to go to the destination flyer, which we indicated as, like I said, requisition. So he's going to customize that. Again, there's that message that indicates it's going to need approval. Okay. So he'll customize this. Okay, how do you spell Dwight? Dwight Schrute. His contact number. And then his email. Now, you know, these are very simple templates, simple information that's being asked for. So, you know, maybe you don't necessarily need this to be approved, but, you know, these are the examples that we'll be using. And so he'll click on done, or preview, sorry, proof it. And then we'll click on done here. Okay, again, it looks very similar, right? Very similar. It's just the process in itself is different. So we'll go to add a cart. He's going to add that to the cart. Okay, he's going to proceed to checkout. Same motions. In this case, it's asking for a requisition number, so that can be indicated here. We'll choose the cost center, and then we'll refresh our details. We'll review the order, and then complete it. Okay, so again, your request has been received. He has a requisition number. I guess this is something was enabled in the background for him to indicate the requisition number here. And so now, again, similar, right? Like I said, it looks the same. It's just the process is a few more steps. So now giving it a few little moments. Like I said, waiting on emails is a little bit complex sometimes, because you never know when your inbox is going to get full. Okay, here we go. Oh, so here's my notification from the prior regular process, right? It's basically mentioned to Pam, hey, the following items have been approved right here. And then she'll also get the order number for that particular employee badge as well. And then here is the requisition notification to the approver for the enhanced process. Looks very similar, okay? So it just says, hey, a requisition's been placed for time to travel, and, you know, Dwight is trying to, you know, order the destination flyer. So to review the order, you know, the approver can click on the link there. I think I do have to log out here. Sorry. So it's gonna recognize me as Dwight. Let me just try that again. Okay, so I'm gonna log in. Actually, let me go back here to as Jim. So Jim is the approver for that. So he can click on the link and log in. I forgot my login because I have everything. So I'm gonna log in via this way. So Jim's gonna log in. And then he's gonna be indicated similar to how Michael was, that there is a requisition. So he'll see that indicator, he'll click on the line here, and then it will say, okay, expiration date, May 16th, which is, I think, what we set it as, expiration date. So that's the expiration date that we set for the product. Did we set that at the product level? So he's gonna click on view details. And then from here, looks very, very similar, but he can go to edit. He might want to click on edit, not to necessarily edit it for Dwight, but he's going to just take a look at what Dwight filled out. All right, so he can take a look. Again, he can think, you know, he can say, well, that's incorrect, or, you know, the price is wrong, or the contact number is wrong, and, you know, maybe the contact number is wrong. So he can just cancel out of that and say, you know what, I'm going to deny this. And just say, you know, phone number is incorrect or something like that. Okay, so he'll submit that, and then that's it. So like I said, now in the typical regular approval process, that would be the end of it if he denied it. Like now Dwight would have to go back in, he'd have to go through the whole process again. But the difference between the enhanced process is that Dwight, again, giving my email a couple moments here, should get an email that says the requisition has been denied. Okay, so now Dwight should be able to go in. Again, let me log out of this so there's not other logins recognized. Dwight should be able to go in, log in, and so from there he can edit it. So again, he can just edit it. It doesn't something that's completely done and he has to redo. He just goes in, he says, oh, you're right, my phone number is incorrect. I preview it. And then I update the item. And then done there. Okay, so again, here's the process. Denied, go back to Dwight, he edits it, he changes it. Okay, so now we're going back again. Okay, so it's saying the requisition's been placed again. Okay, so this is going back to the approver again. Oh, come on. I don't think, Lynn. That's why I was logging in through the. Okay, so then now, here we go. Like again, it's going back to Jim. He can then finally approve it, right? He can click on edit, he can go in, like I said, take a look. Okay, oh, I edited the number? Great, perfect. We'll cancel that out, and then we'll approve it. And then submit it. Okay, so those are those processes. Sorry about the, like I said, working with the email and the logins. Whew, surprised I got out of there unscathed. Okay, so you know, before we finish, so once that happens, right, here we go again, we're gonna get it. Okay, the following items have been approved finally, and then so that's Dwight receiving that email, and then Dwight will also receive an order number here for that particular product for the destination flyer. Okay, so there's a lot of emails that go back and forth, and like I said, if you want to really test out the like expiration and the email alerts that will be sent out to remind the senior purchaser or the purchaser, in this case it doesn't matter, then you can practice that on your own. I will show you an example of like an expired email. I only have that really in a PDF here, but this is what the expired email will look like. It just says, you know, reasons for cancellations: the item below for this product were not reviewed, and so the by the requisition expiration date that was indicated by those days that we have set at the product level, right? So this is just an example of what an expired email will look like. Okay, requisition denied email, we took a look at that when Jim denied it the first time around. So these are a couple examples of what those emails will look like. And then also know that there is documentation on these processes in the Knowledge Center that also provides user guides as well. And so if you are interested in learning a little bit more about that, or just you want to have additional in documentation, then you can always access the Knowledge Center. Just type in approval process or requisition in the Knowledge Center search bar, and those articles will come up so for you to reference. All right, that's it for today. Like I said, a little bit of a shorter class. Are there any questions? Leanna, were there any questions?
There's just one. It's already been answered. So.
Okay, what was the question? Just curious.
Oh, it was just in regards to whether they're on Classic Portal or New Portal.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So that's it. So like I said, if you are interested in using the enhanced process and you are on the new UI, let us know. We can enable that for you. You know, maybe it's something you just want to test out at first, but it's, like I said, an easier way for you to be able to go through that back and forth process, specifically if you know that you have a lot of products that are requisition, or if you also know, like I said, the you know, the additional thing that's different is it allows for senior purchasers to be approved for. Just know that, you know, when we put in the senior purchasers email, like they can never approve for themselves, right? So another email will need to be indicated at the user level of who would approve for that senior purchaser. Okay, so just also make sure you do that as well. Okay, thank you, everyone. Like I said, feel free to email me if you have any suggestions on any topics that you'd like to cover, or if you just have any questions in general, I'd be happy to help you. Alrighty, thank you so much.